Alrighty, folks, you guys know what time it is. It is time for another episode of the Make Money and Have Fun show. But this episode, honestly, I don't want to be biased. I don't want to play favorites, but this might be my favorite episode yet because this is probably going to be the first episode where me and my guest roast each other the whole time, and we don't even really tell you that many valuable things. I'm just kidding. There'll be plenty of value in this show. And this person, Larry Steinhouse, he is one of my closest friends, closest mentors. He's always there when you need him, even though sometimes it's in a very harsh and humbling kind of a way for you to hear. He's always there when you need him. So let's get into it.
My motto in life is make money and have fun. I'm on a mission to show everyone how to make money, and have fun. I'm all about making money and having fun.
All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Larry Steinhouse before I bring him on stage here. So if anybody, I think it was called Splice is the name of the movie. And it's about this guy who has like multiple personalities. He has like 6 or 7 different like people inside of him. That's Larry Steinhouse. Larry Steinhouse is a little bit of everything. He's a real estate investor, an options trader. He's I don't even know what you can call it, a financial guru. He knows more about money than the government or people who create money know about money. And he's a mentor. He's a friend. He's the CEO and founder of Investor Schooling, along with Phil Falcone, where he teaches people how to invest in real estate, how to trade stock options, how to make more money. He's an author of some books. He's spoken on stage. He's done all kinds of amazing things throughout his life. So on that note, please help me welcome Mr. Larry Steinhouse. There he is.
So which personality do you want me to be now?
I don't know. I have a whole list of like all your different personas over here on the right. I got the crazy options trader, the crazy real estate investor, the stock options.
When you say I have a different personalities, I'm trying to think if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it depends on which personality is coming out and when. Like right now, you look like the Monopoly guy. You got all these Monopoly games behind you.
Monopoly stuff back here. Yeah. Hey, you guys want to see this? It's really cool. Let's see if
I
I can
can the screen.
There you go. Look at that. I got all these Monopoly sets back there. I look like I'm really smart with Monopoly sets. The only reason I have them is I know how to play Monopoly, and I keep giving them to me, and I just don't know how to play the game.
Makes sense.
Obviously, not only is that not true, but I play it every day for real.
And there's also a cash flow game there too. You mix that one.
I also have something that's kind of funny, which is let me see if I can show you this one. This is great. There's actually a couple of good ones. There's Trailer Park Wars.
Oh, that's interesting. Here.
Yeah, right. Let me see if I can get it. Trailer Park Wars. That's one. That's an interesting one. There's also, I don't know. Let's see what else is up here that's really fun. There's also Drunk Monopoly.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this is how you get drunk and play Monopoly. But there's a really funny one. Oh, there it is. I found it. Now, this was the one I was looking for. That you'll really find hysterical. This is probably my favorite one.
Is that the Philadelphia version?
Probably.
Ghetto-opoly. Nice.
Yep. I can't remember where I put it. Ghetto-opoly, right? So I haven't played that, but some of the things in the box are just hysterical. The box alone is hysterical.
Yeah. So you're a collector then?
I like Monopoly sets because I play it every day for real.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of fun.
Do you like playing it for real better or playing the game better?
Oh, I play it for real better. And then the property and decide whether I'm going to buy it or not.
There you go. So let's talk about that. Let's start off with your first persona here, or at least what I think was your first persona, which is the crazy real estate investor.
Yes, that's me.
Talk to us about your real estate investing journey. How did that come to be?
So I was 18 years old, and I was working for this company called Crazy Eddie.
Okay.
Right? Where'd that come from? So I worked for this company called Crazy Eddie, and if you guys don't know who Crazy Eddie was, you guys are missing out. It was great. It was an electronic retail chain, and they had the greatest commercials with this guy, Jerry Carroll, who used to go, "Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane." So I'm working there. I'm a technician. I was fixing stuff, and the head technician there was a friend of mine. Became friends, and we realized that. I realized that he was buying properties. He was buying properties. He was renovating them and he was renting them. And I'm like, I can do that. I'm 18 years old at the time. I buy my first property. It's a 2-family house in Easton. And basically, here's the story. How it happened was I was working at a gym in Princeton. So I don't know if you know where Princeton, New Jersey is, but that's fine. So in Princeton, New Jersey, I'm working at in this gym, and they had these bikes, the stationary bikes, and I needed something to read. I didn't have a book this good, so I had to go find a book. To read, right? So I go to the front counter. They have these real estate books, the real estate magazines.
Right.
If you guys are under 25, you've never seen them, so.
I'm almost under 25.
I found a real estate book, and I find this 2-family house for $26,500. It's located in Easton, Pennsylvania. Remember, I'm living right outside of Princeton, New Jersey, and it took me an hour and a half to get to Princeton to go see this property. After I called the real estate agent, she said, come see it. So I go see it, and she goes, what do you think? I go, I'll take it. At the time, I'm making $5 an hour, and I want you to understand that was above minimum wage, because minimum wage at the time was $3.75. I was making $5 an hour. Here's a while, right? And now they're trying to get. Now it's only $7. So me being this old, I think $7 is definitely too low. I also think minimum wage should be abolished. But that's another personality of mine. Let's get back to this personality.
So today you're making $8 an hour, basically. Is what you're saying.
Sometimes it feels that way. Talking to you, I'm making nothing. Thanks a lot. So anyway, I put an offer on the property. She goes, I need a $500 deposit. I go, I don't have $500. And she goes, well, you have $100. And frankly, I was too embarrassed to tell her I didn't have $100. But I wrote a check for $100. I went home. I made the check good somehow. 30 days later, I close on the house and I buy the property with, I don't know what kind of loan it was, but I bought the property with a loan, and I had to come up with $3,600 to buy the property. I had no money, and I figured out a way to do it. And it's funny because I bought this book called No Money Down by Robert Allen. So some of you old timers know the book. Most of you guys have never even heard of Robert Allen at this point. And I read how I did it. To make a long story short, I actually bought the house on credit cards. So it was the first house I ever bought on credit cards. It was a 2-family house. Biggest mistake I ever made was I sold it a year later for $42,000. So why was that a big mistake? Because if I was making $200 a month positive cash flow on that, by now the house would be worth probably about $180,000, $200,000, and the cash flow on that would be unbelievable right now.
Yeah, you'd be making $1,000 a month.
Yeah. So I learned really quickly that buy and hold is the absolute best way to become rich.
Okay, interesting. So for people now, for someone who's never invested in real estate before, would you recommend them to just do the same thing, go to the gyms, hop on the stationary bike and open up a magazine and buy a house? Or,
Well, if they're 20 pounds overweight like I am, I do.
Well, I thought that's what you hired a trainer for.
No. Well, my personal trainer, and you know him, Gordon, he's doing a great job training me, and I actually building muscles. You can't see him through the gold, but I'm also eating too much. So, what can I tell you?
I don't know, but we got to talk about our jackets since you brought it up.
Gordon's watching this. I just want you to know he's making me run every day because he said until I lose 20 pounds, I have to run every day. So I have to run a minimum of 2 miles every day until I lose the 20 pounds. That's my punishment. Isn't it amazing?
So you don't use the stationary bike anymore?
No, I actually have an elliptical.
Okay.
But I also run on the street. Which, by the way, just so you know, I never run in my life until about a year and a half ago. And I couldn't even make it down the street. Now I run. Now I've actually run. I actually did a 5K this summer.
Oh, cool.
Kind of neat, yeah. Which was the first time ever. I mean, talk about running. I did a 5K. I mean, not like I finished first, but I finished somewhere in the middle. It's kind of cool. So I did a 5K for the first time in my entire life. And I'm also running. I'm running regularly now. It's kind of fun.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So you never ran in your life before?
Never in my life. I mean, did I run? Did I do a sprint, or did I run from here to the house next door? Yeah. But I ran 10 feet the first day. When I say run, I'm not talking full pace. I'm talking jogging. And
right.
I ran 3 houses down, and I'd be out of breath, and I'd be punched over like I'm dying.
Jeez.
And now it's funny. I'll do maybe a quarter-mile sprints real fast.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of some of the runs, and it's amazing how different it is. How much more I can breathe.
So have you seen
breathe now and then?
Yeah, that's typically important when you're running. You want to try to keep doing the breathing and the running at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
So have you seen a correlation at all between your financial success as your health has increased?
No, but I'm sure that in the future I will because I won't have to spend money on my health. So you don't understand that because you're too young to understand that. When you start seeing people that you know get older and start to spend money on drugs to keep themselves alive, and also and also surgeries and whatever it is, or diabetes. I mean, whatever they get, they got to spend all this money to keep themselves alive. So I would say that those people are wasting their money on their health. When if they would have just spent a little bit of time and money on their health earlier, they would have been better.
That's actually a good way to put it. So it's something that affects the end as opposed to the here and now.
Don't take care of your body now. What do you think you're going to live later?
Exactly. You won't be able to go on 7 cruises a year.
That's right. And I can't go on 7 cruises a year right now because there's this ridiculous cold going around.
Oh, geez. Larry's trying to turn this into a political post.
We go there too if you want. All right, come on. This is boring. Let's go, man. Ask me a good question.
We got to get back to we got to get back to the real estate question, man. You've been that question from the beginning.
All right, let's go.
All right, so I'm brand new to real estate. I have my gym membership. I got my stationary bike. Do I just go in and pick the first house I see and buy it, or what would you recommend to someone?
Sort of. The answer is sort of. I mean, look, obviously you want to get a little bit of education. You want to know a little bit about what you're doing. You know, if you want to plug Investor Schooling now, I'll be more than happy to do that. Go to investorschooling.com and you can learn all about how to join us and learn how to invest in real estate and stock market. But the real answer is go do something. Just do something. Even if you just go take a realtor, and I don't care if you waste their time because most of them waste your time anyway. You take a realtor and you go out there and start looking at houses and just learn. You're going to learn something, right? Start learning how to figure out cash flow and whether that makes sense or not.
Sure.
Try to figure out whether the house is for you or not. I bought my first house. I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, if I had any clue what I was doing, I'd still own that house because that was a brilliant house. I'm making $200 a month cash flow on a house I paid $26,500 for in 1983. I mean, why? I mean,
I wasn't even born then.
Yeah, I mean, that's just freaking brilliant. Why would I? If I would have known, I would have kept it.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Absolutely. Especially when you have a weird jacket like this.
So tell us about these jackets. What's going on with all this fancy stuff? Do you got to like boost your ego or something when you wake up in the morning?
Do you think I need an ego boost?
I figure the way I see it is you wake up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you're like, ah, crap. And then you put the jacket on and you feel better.
Yeah, something like that. I think about, I might have to impress Fred today.
Well, I got my jacket back.
I noticed that. I see that's the one that Nathan made, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So Nathan's making me a new jacket.
Oh.
It's a special one. It's really, really special. And I'm not sure if I want to tell you about it because I think I want to, debut it one day. Well, actually, we have an event coming up. If I don't know if anybody's interested. So if you go to Your Piece of the Good Life, piece is spelled Piece. For those of you who don't know how to spell, Your Piece of the Good Life. You can go to a 3-day seminar. It's 22nd, 23rd, 24th. And if you use the coupon Facebook, I guess would be the best one to use. You get $100 off, and you go all 3 days. And I'm gonna show this jacket off that day. And I'm telling you right now, that alone is worth the price. So for less than $400, you can spend 3 days with me. Well, I might have to pay you $400 anyway. But there you go. So Your Piece of the Good Life. Go to use the coupon code Facebook. You can join. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun actually. All right.
Yeah, that'll be.
I got a question for you.
For me?
Yeah.
What's your question?
When are you going to buy another piece of real estate?
Never.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, whenever I get everything else in order.
In order. So don't ever wait for anything. Don't ever wait to have things in order. Don't ever wait for anything. Just start doing. Because things will never be in order.
So in that vein,
if I waited for me to get things in order, I have more disorder than you on a daily basis than you have your entire life.
Very true. So
I have businesses I run, right? I have 5 businesses I run. I have a bunch of real estate. I do a daily show, which by the way is about to go public on the radio too. I do a weekly show on another radio station, and you're going to say, "Get my house in order"? Come on, let's go. buy a house.
What time's your show today?
So today is 403 Facebook, 403 on Facebook. It's a market wrap-up show. I discuss the market, the stock market, and I make some good stock picks. Actually, if you were watching the show last week and you would have just paid attention to every one of my picks last week, you would have made a lot of money this week.
That's the Money Chat Now show. People can check that out on Facebook, right?
You go to Facebook and just like the Money Chat Now page, and also you can go to YouTube and like that page, whatever.
That works either way. So I have a question for you, Larry, and it's cool that we're going down this vein. So you see a lot of students, you coach a lot of people, you have a lot of clients. What do you feel is one of the reasons why people don't take action that you see?
Most of them are afraid. It's analysis paralysis. I mean, I just got off a coaching appointment with one of my students, and it's funny because she's been a student for a while, and it bothers me that people ask this question ever, but it definitely bothers me that they ask this question 6 or 9 months into coaching, and they're like, when a seller calls, what should I say? And my answer is always the same: hello. It's that simple. When they say hello, and then hi, I got a letter from you. You want to buy houses? I have a house for sale. Great. I mean, the answer after that is pretty simple. You're just going to say, okay, great. Tell me about the house, or how can I help you, or tell me what's going on, or whatever. It's just odd because they're so afraid to get the phone call that they have paralysis on even just saying hello. Look, if you're very first time doing this and you send out 500 pieces of mail and you happen to get 3 or 4 calls and you screw all 4 calls up, so what? You practiced. I promise you that after you practice, if you talk, I always tell a story of my first subject 2 deal, and I was in the story, it's the truth. I was talking to the seller about buying a house property. I had no idea what I was talking about. Although, kind of, but I was scared. I was nervous. I was just like everybody else. And sure enough, I closed it. And so what? Even if I didn't, I practiced. That's all you do. Just practice. Just talk to people over and over and over again. And eventually you're going to get people who are going to understand you, listen to you. And then you're going to get really good at it. You're going to answer questions that you don't know the answer to. You could bring it back to your mentor, whether it's me, whether it's Fred, whether it's anyone else. You bring the question back to your mentor and you say, hey, I got this question. How do I answer it? Well, and it's usually a pretty simple answer, but sometimes people don't know. But at least now you know what to do next time somebody asks that question. The other thing too is practice. Practice with your spouse. Practice with your brother. Practice with your friend. Right now, like, hey, Fred. Hey, Fred. Hi, Fred. I got your letter today.
My letter?
Yeah, I have a house for sale. I got your letter today.
Oh, okay. How much do you want for it?
I don't know. I'll take $150,000 for it.
All right, sounds good to me. I'll be right over.
All right, so there. I mean, so even if you do that, fine. I'll be right over. That's the answer. The answer is I'll be right over, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Whether you ask 15 more questions or not, it doesn't really matter. The reality is you need to get in front of the person, you need to get in front of the house. Don't make a mistake and go into the house without the person, because if you want the house, you're not going to be able to buy it if they're not there. And make sure you bring paperwork. Make sure you bring good contracts to sign it. And then the other question is, where do I get the contracts? Okay, look, obviously you get the contracts in investor schooling. Obviously we have them. But here's the thing. Take out a freaking napkin and write on it, seller's name, buyer's name, 123 Main Street, house, 125,000, right? Sign this, sign that, and that's a contract. For real, it's a contract. Don't think that if you forgot your contract, you're in trouble. Just take out a piece of paper and say, seller agrees to sell this house for 125,000. The date will be this. Yes, it's a legal binding contract.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's I don't know if it's legal and binding. I guarantee you a judge is going to call it legal and binding. So it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Just do it.
So Larry, what is it, I guess, that about you that makes you so passionate about helping others and teaching other people about real estate?
Those are actually 2 separate questions. I realize you asked them as one, but they're actually 2 separate questions.
Okay.
What is it that I love about helping others? I don't know. All I know is I really, really enjoy helping others. Like, I get more of a thrill. And Fred, because I've coached you before, I get more of a thrill watching your success than me watching my success. And I don't know why that is. It's just something about me that, I call it a great quality, but I really enjoy it. It's just something that's great. I also, it's generosity. You've seen me before. It's generosity. It's just the way I am. I just like to help people in any way I can. Now, at the same time, I don't get taken advantage of either. So when I'm helping people, like if Fred came up to me and he said, "Hey, I need $1,000," I'm going to ask what it's for. And if I agree that Fred needs $1,000, or he's going to get his ass kicked by the guy he owes the money to, I'm probably going to give him $1,000, but I'm not going to give it to him again. He's got to learn from that lesson. I know it's a weird example, but that's just how it works. It's a weird example. I just want to help people. And then my passion for real estate, I don't know. Again, it probably came from playing Monopoly, where I used to play Monopoly when I was a kid, and it was fun to play Monopoly. I don't know why. It was just so much fun. I used to have piles of cash, and now again I have piles of cash. Some of it's not real cash, some of it is in equity, and some of it is in other places. But it's real cash. It's just real money. It's fun. It's just fun to play. It's fun to land on a property and then decide whether you're going to buy it. In fact, when I go out to a property and decide I don't want to buy that property, I'm actually really disappointed. Because it isn't about the guy not selling to me. It's that I really made the decision. I just don't want to buy it. It was happening to me recently on a property that the guy was just so far in over his head that I would have to give him $50,000 less than he's into it for me to undo all the stuff that he did, because he did it all wrong, and then to be able to make any money on it. I was really disappointed because I actually really wanted to buy the property.
Yeah, I've been in those situations before. It's difficult.
Some people make big mistakes, and one of the biggest mistakes you can make is thinking you can handle your own renovation. I don't even care if you're a builder. Don't think you can handle your own renovation, because it's not going to happen. You're going to take people off the job, and you're going to put them on jobs that are paying you, and you're going to end up not finishing the project, and you're going to end up losing money on it.
And you do an interesting thing with renovations too. You've never actually done a flip, right? Because everything's kind of worked out a different way.
I intended to do a couple of them, and they never turned into flips. It's funny. I either sold the property before I renovated it for a huge amount of money, or I ended up lease optioning one, or whatever. It was just so many different things. But no, I mostly renovate to rent because I want to keep my property. Look, I'm a lot older than you. I don't have a retirement plan. My retirement plan is my real estate. So I'll be making, whatever, $20,000, $30,000 a month in rents that I'll be collecting when 10 years from now that I'll be collecting, and I can retire. By the way, I can retire now if I really wanted to. I actually did that for a couple of months and thought that was the most boring thing I've ever done. The one thing, for anybody out there who thinks that it would be great to not have a job, it is extremely boring. Especially when you're home between 9 to 5 and no one's home. None of your friends are home. None of your siblings are home. No one's home, and you're sitting there watching TV. And you can only watch Dr. Phil so many times before you get lost.
Well, that gives the assumption that you have friends.
Well, hey, if I didn't have friends, I wouldn't be on your show.
Something like that. I love it. So we got the real estate. When did the stock options come into all this? Because you do stock options too, and you even had another character for that, which is the crazy stock options trader. How did he come to be?
Yeah. So crazy options trader, actually.
Yeah, let me fix that.
You got to fix it, man. Come on now. It's crazy options trader.
There you go.
You turned into the stock option consultant, but he's not here today. But anyway, so he's not here today. Yeah, right. So crazy options trader. So basically what happened was, it was like 15 years ago, I learned how to buy options. It's not very difficult to learn how to buy options, but I learned how to buy options. And I discovered really quickly that if you don't know how to actually trade options properly, you're going to lose money very fast. So it actually turned out it was about 4 years that I was trading options back and forth, and I had no idea what I was doing. Sometimes I was up, sometimes I was down. I had no idea what I was doing. And it ended up that over the 4 years, I actually made $8,000, which was kind of great because I actually, especially knowing what I know now, I'm shocked that I made $8,000. So I look back, I look at some of the trades I was making, and I start taking notes. And out of those notes, I start writing rules, and I write the rules of the crazy options trader. And when I write these rules, no joke, the first year trading options with a $30,000 account, I made $80,000 the first year trading stock options from May on, because I wrote the rules in May. And I said, wow, this actually works. And I tried to do it again. I made $130,000. Then I made $250,000 a few times, $300,000 a couple of times. And actually, it's funny, but I'm always transparent. I'm actually having the worst year I've ever had. But it was just a weird year. It was just, what can I tell you? It was, the COVID made me nuts, and COVID made the stock market nuts. So
I think you're already nuts.
Well, yeah, I know, but there's the difference between crazy and nuts.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's not like I lost the two. I mean, I probably made close to, I don't know, probably 1.5 to 2 million in stock options. It's not
Sure.
like I lost that.
And just like you mean overall?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so since I wrote the rules, I probably about 1.6, 1.7 million is what I made in stock options since I wrote the rules.
And that's over how long of a time? Was that 8 years?
Probably 12 years because
12.
maybe 10 years, maybe 11 years. Yeah. Because
Mhm.
it was, it took me 4 years to realize that I had no idea what I was doing because I'm stubborn.
That happens.
And then Phil and I got together and we decided to start teaching this stuff. So Phil and I have been friends for quite a while, and Phil was doing seminars on real estate. He was mostly doing seminars on real estate so he could find private funding, which is, by the way, a really brilliant idea. So he would do real estate seminars for free or $5 or whatever he was charging in a room, and he'd get 20, 30, 40 people in a room, and he would talk about deals he was doing. And sure enough, people would come up to him afterwards. They say, and this is why he did it. They would say, "Hey, how can I get involved in those deals?" And he would say, "Hey, do you have any money?"
Yeah.
You go, "Well, yeah, I got like $200,000." He goes, "Great, because I'm looking for a lender on $200,000. How would you like 5, 6, 7, 8% on your money?" And they go, "Oh yeah, we can do that." So that's why he would do it. And
Sure.
I would guest appear every once in a while there, and at the same time, I really enjoyed it. And eventually, what happened was, I'm sitting home, like I said before, I'm watching Dr. Phil. I couldn't take it anymore, and I started coaching a couple of people on the side for real estate and stock options. And Phil and I decided to open up this school. And we opened it up, and it was 3 years ago that we opened the school, and we are killing it. We used to have this really great guy working for us, but then he decided that he wanted to be on his own.
It seems like he had a few lessons that he still needed to learn in his life, and he's grown from that.
Yeah. His name, like has red in it, doesn't it?
Red, like my jacket,
Yeah.
kind of
There
like
you go.
that.
Now you're Red Fred.
There you go. It even rhymes. See.
Very cool. Very cool.
So how did that name come to be, the Crazy Options Trader name? Is it just because people knew you were crazy and?
So it's funny for this because you think that it came from the Crazy Eddie thing. It just happens to fit in really well. But I'll tell you the story of Crazy Options Trader, where the name came from. Is funny. I was actually, I was banking with a bank, and one day I walk in to the bank with a very large deposit, a couple of $100,000, and of course, this one guy there who actually realizes, hey, this guy just walked in with a lot of money. We should probably talk to this guy about some of the products they have. But anyway, so he calls me up. He says, "Hey, his name's James." He says, "Hey, Larry, this is James from the bank. I noticed you just made a large deposit. We'd love to talk to you about some of the products we have." And I laughed and I said, "Dude, you can't possibly make as much money, or you show me how to make as much money as I'm making trading stock options." And he goes, "Oh, you trade stock options too?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, me too." And I go, and I like the guy. So I went to go see him, and we started hanging out. We started talking, at the bank. And I started to show him some of the things I was doing and some of the plays I was making. And he goes, "Dude, you're crazy." And sure enough, I went home and I wrote, and I looked up on the internet. I looked to see if Crazy Options Trader was available on, as a URL. It was, so I bought it. That's really how it all started. So Crazy Options Trader. Then I started doing, I don't know if you guys even remember, but it was like 5 years ago. I started doing a pretty much like every 2 or 3 days, I would do a 10-minute show on options and options trades that I was doing.
It's interesting that you've kind of created like a proprietary method for options trading, and it's had so much success, but not just you, but even with your students now.
Yeah. It even worked for you too. You made some money.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's crazy. Like you say, if you just get out of your own way and start doing the things that you got to do, you can actually make money too.
Right. It's funny because it's a set of 17 rules that it's funny. If you follow them, it works. Most of them.
Right. No guarantees.
But the hard part is every once in a while you want to break the rules because you get greedy, or you see something on YouTube, or somebody else is doing something, or you listen to somebody, and sure enough, it's funny because the students come to me. It usually happens about 3 months in where they're doing really, really well, and then they decide to go watch a YouTube video or learn something new, and then they try it and then they lose their money. And I say, "Okay, what do you do?" I go, "That's outside the rules." They go, "Yeah, I know, but I thought it might work." It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. The rules.
It happens almost all the time. It's it's usually about 3 months too. 3 months in, and then they go back to the rules. When they go back to the rules, they start making money again.
the rules work perfectly if you're a robot, but if you have emotions,
yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
Because it's hard to get, the emotion gets in the way.
exactly. Yeah, having emotions and feelings doesn't work with the rules of the crazy options trader.
All of us want to know it's Perrier.
I was worried there for a minute.
I only drink when I'm talking to other people, but not you, Frank.
I'm curious how your jacket would look if we were both drunk right now.
Say it again.
I'm curious how your jacket would look if we were both drunk right now. It'd be like psychedelic.
Listen, if you're coming on to me, just don't do it in public, okay?
Never. There's no. So the other interesting thing about you, Larry, is you got the stock options thing, you got the real estate thing, but you just have a brain for money. Like you've debunked so many myths that people think about with money, about taxes, about the way the government works, about healthcare plans, about all kinds of crazy stuff going on with money. It's like you're a money hacker.
Wow. Would you like me to introduce the name of my new book?
How is that for a segue? Speaking of books, Larry is also infamous for having the greatest titles in the history of books.
Oh, that one too. Yeah. Yeah.
So Larry does this thing. I need a caveat.
So people can see him.
So I need to caveat this. So Larry does this thing where he tries to take as many words in the English language as possible and throw them into the titles of his books. So this one is for real estate agents. So you were also an agent too, right, Larry?
I had a broker, and I find that real estate agents are typically very dumb, and they're not necessarily dumb.
And they have their head in the clouds.
But they don't understand that it's not about the paperwork. It's about doing marketing and about marketing well. So this book was written 12 practices real estate agents should be doing, and I bet you aren't. If you read that book and follow that, you'll actually be a successful real estate agent. And it's not that you can read that in one sitting. Actually, it's very small.
And then you have this one as well, which has an even better title, which is easier to say.
Yep, I can never remember it either. How we quit our jobs, got rich, and found freedom with real estate and stock options investing. And if you ask me that title after you put the book down, I wouldn't even remember it.
I think you can add a few more syllables into there. And basically, if you read the cover,
what's that?
If you read the cover, there's more words on the cover than there is in the whole book.
Well, you're probably right. I actually think those words repeat a couple of times in the book, too.
Probably.
So that book was actually, Phil and I wrote that book. It was actually an interview book where somebody interviewed us, and it was turned into a book. But it's really great. It's fun. It's actually a fun book. Actually, you can see that Phil and I, we typically play off each other very well, and it's even written in the book. And then I have another book coming out that's coming out at the end of this year. It's called Money Hacks. It's only 2 words. Just 2 words.
I'm proud of it.
Money Hacks. However, the title, the subtitle, is called, it says, because everything you think you know about money is wrong.
Well, we almost had it. What about this one? I bet you haven't seen this one in a while.
That's an old book, right? Yeah, if I won $25 million in life. So that's an interesting book. So this is proof that you can get anything you want. Because I wrote that book in 2009, and in that book, just so you know, I had just come out of bankruptcy. I lost everything, and I wrote a book on how I was going to fix that, become a millionaire again, and recover from bankruptcy with incredible credit, with lots of money, lots of houses again. And I actually say how I'm going to do it in that book. And then literally I follow that book step by step. Now, you know, Jamie works here. She actually says she read the book, because I hadn't read the book in a long time. She read the book and she goes, "You did everything in this book except buy a boat." So the only thing I didn't do was buy a boat. And it's funny because I keep looking for a slip so I can buy a boat.
There you go. So just cross that off and then the book will come true.
Exactly right. Well, the book came true. Just, you know. It's just how important the boat is to me right now. It's probably not that important to me right now. And that's probably why I didn't get it.
Well, you could get yourself a cruise ship, and then you can go on those cruises that you can't go on.
I know. And you know the number one reason people don't have more money?
Is it because they don't actually want it? Or they don't know what they're going to do with it?
Almost. The reason is because they don't know what they would do with it. Now, sure enough, everybody goes, "Oh, yeah, I'd feed the poor. I'd buy a bigger house." Bullshit. Okay, here's the reality, okay? When you really want to know what you're going to do with the money's going to find you. It's very simple. You want to buy an apartment complex? You want to buy an apartment complex instead of, well, I think I might kind of sort of think it would be really cool if I kind of sort of maybe put an apartment complex. That's what you're doing. I am buying an apartment complex. I will die trying. You're going to find the money and you're going to find the apartment complex you want. Like we got students, I don't even know if you saw it today, but we got students who actually bought trailer parks. They're buying trailer parks. And I was blown away by the fact that these guys, like, they never bought anything. I mean, before they came to the school, they actually bought a couple of houses now since they've been in the school. But they had one house that they lived in for their entire life, and they just bought a bunch of houses. They renovated them, made money. Now they're buying trailer parks. Why do they buy trailer parks? Because they want to buy trailer parks. They want to become rich. This is what they want to do. And when you decide that you want to buy something or want something, you will have it. I'm going to use this example, and some people find this example a little harsh, but it's the truth. You ever know a heroin addict, Fred?
I haven't. No.
Okay, but you know of heroin addicts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can answer this question. What is the one thing that a heroin addict will do every day?
Heroin?
Yeah, exactly. They will find heroin. They will find it no matter what they have to do. Whether they have to steal someone, kill someone, sleep with someone, it doesn't matter. They're going to find it, right? That's what you need to do if you want to be a real estate investor and you want to buy a specific piece of real estate. You know that you're going to wake up the next day and you're going to do everything in your power, plus even power that you don't even know you had, to buy a piece of real estate if you really want it. Now, if you don't really want the real estate or that piece of real estate, then you already know why you don't have it, because you really didn't want it. I mean, I got people coming in, they're like, well, the house across the street from me has grass this high. I think I might want to buy it. That's not a real estate investor. A real estate investor says, the house across the street had high grass on it. I knocked on their door until someone answered because they were sleeping. I spoke to the person when they said, I'm not interested. I put my foot in the door and I said, no, you're going to listen to me because I don't want that high grass in front of my house anymore. And you're going to sell me your house no matter what it takes. And the guy sat down with him and he made a deal and he bought the house. Now that's a funny example, but that's a heroin addict.
Yeah. So it all happens in the mind first, and then it manifests itself afterwards. So is this some of the stuff that you talk about in your next book, in Money Hacks?
I actually do. But there's a little bit of money mindset in the book. Actually, it starts out with money mindset. Then it talks about all the different ways that you can make more money and save more money. I mean, look, most people have no idea that you can even get a health savings account. So people don't even know that. So if you have a health insurance policy, you can actually put money aside, because the government wants you to do this, because they say, hey, if your deductible is a high deductible, they let you put money aside, tax deductible money aside, and you can actually put money aside so that if you have an emergency and you need to pay your deductible, you can take that money out of deductible. But what people don't know is you can open up a health savings account and you could buy a house in it.
Yep.
Most people have no clue that you could buy a house in a health savings account. Forget about the fact that you could buy a house in your IRA or both traditional IRA and Roth IRA.
And 401k.
Yeah, if you have your own company, you could have a 401k plan that you could buy your houses in. There's so many things that you can do with money that they don't even understand. What's his name? The Supreme Leader, Biden. He's now trying to change some of these rules. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think he's going to be able to change these rules, but some of the rules for being able to invest in big properties and build your IRA into a big number. Now, these people, they're freaking clueless. They have no idea. I find it funny that the people who are making the rules on how you make money don't make this money the way you make money. They get number one, they get government money, which is guaranteed money, whether they work or not. Then they also have stocks that they buy stocks. So they make the legislation that says that this stock is going to go up or go down. If they want to bash Facebook, what do you think they're going to do? 2 weeks before they put the legislation in to bash Facebook, they're going to either sell Facebook short or they're going to buy puts on Facebook. And guess what? You ready for this? It's legal. I'm blown away by this. I did a thing on this yesterday on my show, Money Chat Now show, about how these insider traders in the government, in the Fed, are all making money off their own policies. It's absolutely brilliant. They got judges now who are deciding cases based on the fact that the judge had money in the stock market against this company or with this company and ruled against the plaintiff because they were afraid that they were going to lose money in their stocks. Really? And this is legal? Yeah, it's legal.
It's craziness what goes on in the government out there.
Most insider trading you go to jail for. These guys are insider trading in a different way. They're insider trading, I don't know, legally. It's bizarre. It's completely unethical, but it's legal.
Show me the new tax. Show me the new tax loophole.
And so some of the things I teach in Money Hacks is how you can take advantage of these things, how you can take advantage of, IRAs, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs. There are people, I don't know if anybody's watching this who's 72 and above, they have to take their required minimum distribution out of their IRA. And they're like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to live if I have to take my required minimum distribution out of IRA. Here's the reality, right? I'm going to teach you how to take your RMDs without losing any money out of your IRA. So, for example, just a rough example, if you had $100,000 in your IRA and your RMD is, I don't know, $1,000 a month that you have to take out, go buy a rental property, put it inside your IRA for $100,000. The rent's coming in at $1,000. The rent goes into the IRA because it has to go there first, and then you pull it back out. What's going to happen to property? Is property going to go up or down?
It's going to go up.
It's going to go up, of course, right? So now your IRA is actually increasing in value, and you're pulling money out of your IRA because it's generating money instead of just sitting there doing nothing in some stupid mutual fund that's giving you 3% interest.
I love it. I love it. So when can we expect to see Money Hacks coming out?
I have no idea. You know how these publishers are. You put out a book like this, right? You wrote it, what, 7 years ago, and it finally came out?
Basically, something like that. It was like a year or so, and it's actually not even out yet.
Oh, so there's the answer. Your book's not even out yet, and yours actually has a real physical book already, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grabbed a bunch of author copies. I gave you one. I gave a lot of friends one, and sold a couple of them. And
well, I'm honored to have one. I think it's great, and I started to dive into it. And I'll let you know what I completely think about it. But I won't tell you online because in case I hate it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Get your red pen out with it. Tell me everything I did wrong in the money section.
The red cover.
Exactly.
Your red jacket. By the way, your red jacket doesn't match this cover. You should have at least gotten the same color,
Yeah, maybe. I blame Nathan for that. I just need a new jacket. That's all it is.
Hey, I told Nathan, wait till you see this jacket Nathan's made me. I can't tell you. It's going to make everyone laugh.
Yeah,
I'm going to be spending about $1,000 on a jacket just to make people laugh. Then I'll probably wear once.
Does it have my face on it?
What?
Does it have my face on it?
No.
Okay, well, that would make people laugh. So I wanted to just clarify that.
That would make people laugh for a lot of reasons, but that's different.
So is this the only jacket you have, or where do these jackets come from?
I have dozens of these jackets, and you know it. Stop asking dumb questions.
Well, I'm asking it for the people that have never heard of Larry Steinhouse, that live under a rock and know nothing about who you are or what you do.
So I have like 2 dozen of these jackets, but maybe a little less than 2 dozen. And the jacket all started. It's funny because there was this place called Justin's in Jersey City. My wife and I are there. We're going to New York City. I usually go to Jersey City and then I take the path over to New York City, so I don't have to pay for parking in New York City or pay for a hotel in New York City because it's a lot cheaper in Jersey City. So we're in the mall in Jersey City in this place called Justin's. We walk by and I see a jacket. It's not this one, but I see a jacket in the window. I'm like, that jacket's awesome. And my wife goes, that is the tackiest jacket I've ever seen. I go, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. I got to go try it on. So I go try it on, and I end up buying the jacket. I end up buying another one next to it. And that's how it started. It actually started that way. I started wearing the jacket. I started getting compliments on them. And then I went back and I bought another one. This is actually from Justin's too. I went back and I bought another one and another one and another one. And then now, well, I don't even know if they're still there because of freaking COVID, but it used to be that I used to walk in and they loved it when I walked in. They went, "Oh, Larry's here!"
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They actually got the point. Do you have this one? Do you have this one? It's not even like it's like we got another one. And then they would find me jackets and they would hold them for me and they would sell them to me. And then every once in a while I'd see another one somewhere else and I'd buy that one somewhere else. Whatever's the oddest looking jacket, or not odd, but the different. And I get compliments all the time. So like tonight we're going to go to Chambers. So by the way, if anybody's in the area, Chambers 19 in Doylestown, we're going to be there tonight from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. You even get free appetizers. But I go to Chambers wearing a jacket, and it's funny because I walk in there and all the people over there, they all love it. They go, "Oh, Larry's here. He's wearing a jacket." And one day I forgot to bring a jacket, and nobody recognized me.
So basically, you kept Justin's in business for the past few years.
Well, yeah, except for last year because I couldn't go because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
You want to know. You've heard the expression, right? Dress for success. I know this makes you laugh every time I say it. You've heard the expression "dress for success," and I tell people all the time, you have to be extremely successful to have the nerve to dress like this.
Oh, jeez.
All right, you've heard that joke so many times it's not funny anymore. But the first time you heard it, you laughed hysterical.
Yeah, because I was trying to get my paycheck that month.
No, that was before you got a paycheck.
So when you say people give you compliments on these jackets, that's everybody except your wife, right?
But yeah, sort of. Not exactly though. You know, she just rolls her eyes every time I put one on.
Makes
But
sense.
she knows I enjoy the I don't know the attention.
Prestige.
Not the attention.
Yeah. You don't
I,
get enough of that.
I need people to fill my ego, so I have to wear the jacket so people pay attention to me.
We haven't even brought up the stock option Sultan today. Speaking of attention,
I didn't bring the stock option Sultan outfit. I should have.
We'll interview him separately.
Yeah, but if you want to go to just go to Facebook and go to stock option Sultan. Look up stock option Sultan. You'll get to see me in my Sultan cap and my jacket. And every Thursday night at Investor Schooling, the stock option Sultan comes out and gives stock picks. And they've been pretty good lately. I got it back. I was off for a little while, but I got it back. So come to Investor Schooling this Thursday, tomorrow actually, and you can see the stock option Sultan.
So is the stock option Sultan actually you, or is it a completely other person?
I can't tell you. Because
it's a trade.
He looks a lot like me, but not quite.
Sure. I mean, I wasn't sure. Like,
I will tell you that Larry and the stock option Sultan have never been in the same room together.
Yeah, they don't like each other, right?
Yeah, well, they kind of made up.
Okay. Well, that's
there was a time where they didn't like to talk to each other, but yeah,
that's a little more details than we needed on this show. But
yeah, exactly, something like that. And then, as a matter of fact, if you come to Investor Schooling tomorrow night, you'll actually get your picture taken with the stock option Sultan. That's kind of fun too, because everybody who shows up for the first time gets your picture taken with the stock option Sultan.
I love it. So if you want to meet the Sultan, we'll probably interview him sometime in the future.
Yeah, that would be fun. Actually, to have the stock option Sultan come, that would be fun.
Yeah, he probably sabotaged the whole show. He gets a little out of hand.
He definitely gets out of hand. And the smoke machine broke.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, the smoke machine was the best. The stock option Sultan used to come out and puff the smoke. And the smoke machine broke. Smoke machine would hit him in the face. He'd have a coughing spell for 20 minutes. Yeah, but that was also like the mist that cured COVID, because we would have that mist that would go through the whole office so that it would kill all the COVID.
Does Joe Biden approve of this mist?
Yes, but then again, that was yesterday. He just doesn't remember today. Hey, he can't even remember his own guys telling him he should leave 2,500 troops there in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
He never told me that. Dude, do you remember what you had for breakfast this morning? Well, no.
Anyway, before this turns into a political debate here and we get banned, we go into Facebook jail again.
Yeah, right, exactly. I've been in Facebook jail more times than most people.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that you were commenting today on all the stuff. I was like, I wonder if Larry's going to be able to do this or if he's going to be stuck in Facebook jail.
Yeah. The last time I was in Facebook jail, right, there was this guy in some wholesaling group that was an obvious scammer. He put that the scammiest thing. Send me $53,000 and you too can have a tax deed worth $5,000. I mean, that was basically what he wrote. He just didn't know that he wrote that. And I said, this is a scam. Why would anybody want to do this? And they put me in Facebook jail for it. They called it bullying. I'm like, what are you freaking out of your mind?
They clearly don't know you if they think that's bullying. That's you being nice.
Yeah, in fact, it was me being nice. That's the funny part.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I even wrote back to Facebook because they have this whole new thing now. You can write them a complete letter saying, disagreeing with it, and it goes to nobody.
I think that's just to appease the people that they keep putting in Facebook jail.
Exactly right.
Yeah, to the non-existing customer service.
Yeah, at one point they actually turned my account completely off.
Jeez.
I was pretty proud of that because that put me right there with Trump.
Did you have to make a new account?
No, they released it after about a week. And I wasn't sure why. I got an email saying, yeah, you're good now, whatever.
So Damien says you've been a commenting machine today.
What the hell does that even mean? Does Damien ever make any sense? Damien, what does he mean by a commenting machine? Oh, you mean commenting on other sites? Yeah, because
yes.
I go into some of these other groups, some of these like creative real estate groups, and I'm like, the people who run this group, so they need to answer their people's questions, and they don't. And now I know what Damien means because he's right. I was in one of the groups this morning because somebody asked a question, and it's bizarre to me. They're like, "How do I come up with a down payment to buy a house? What do you need a down payment for? I go to closings and I leave with money."
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. People give some of the silliest answers you ever see. You're like, what? What are you talking about?
I mean, the questions are silly to start with, but then you're right. The answers are, well, you can get a down payment by maybe asking your grandmother for money. Okay.
And then the person writes back, my grandmother's dead.
Yeah, right. They're like, oh, well, then maybe you can't get the money because there's no other way besides your grandmother. That's what I did.
So let's talk real quick about your coaching style. So you're a very honest person when it comes to coaching with you.
And some people can't handle that.
It's interesting how the people have different perceptions about you, and I think that those perceptions change as they get to know you and things like that. I guess kind of do you intentionally coach people in this way to try to instill a change in them, or is it just kind of who you are?
No, I freaking hate people. No, I'm kidding.
That's what I figured.
I believe it works. Some people disagree with me.
Mm-hmm.
And not to get too personal, but I had a conversation with you, and typically what happens is I'm right.
Sure.
Sometimes people can't handle the truth, right? So they get really mad because I told them the truth. Sometimes I have to beat them over the head with it, or sometimes I can nicely explain it. I have to be with you. I have to nicely explain it. But the problem is it's the truth, and they don't understand that what I see, they either don't see yet or don't know how to see it yet.
Right, or don't want to.
People call it wisdom. Whatever you want to call it, it's fine. Maybe it's a sixth sense. I don't know what it is, and I don't really care what it is. I just know, and sometimes, and even with your case, if you remember, we had a conversation about something. It's too personal to get into. We had a conversation. I even said to you, "I hope I'm wrong," but I was right, and that's the other thing too. Is I have a lot of empathy for people, but I want to bang them over the head and tell them, "Don't do the stupid shit you're about to do because you're going to screw up your life, right? Or it's going to screw up this deal, or this deal isn't real." Or the guy taking your money now is going to take your money. We actually had a student who she came to us. I think you know who she was. She came to us, and before she came to us, she gave somebody a whole bunch of money, and she then became a student, and she started telling me about this deal. I go, wait a minute, slow down. What did you do? And she starts telling me about it. She starts telling me about it. And I said, this person stole your money. No. She's an honest person. I said, no, she stole your money. I don't care if she's honest or not honest. She stole your money. And she started asking me more questions. I started asking her more questions. And then all of a sudden she burst out crying and realized I was right. Then I spent the next 2 weeks trying to figure out how to get her money back. And I did, which I got to be honest with you, was just luck. I mean, I told her to do this, and it worked. But if the person didn't have the money to give back to her, then it might not have worked. And I also understood because I actually got a call from a DA, from a district attorney in New York, who said, hey, listen, you helped her get her money back. How did you do that? And I said, this is what I did. And they go, well, I don't know if that's going to work again. I said, it's probably not going to work again. But I'm glad that, the person I knew got their money back. And they were like, and I was like, can you help us prosecute this person? I said, of course I can. I just don't know what help I can be. I said, it is what it is. That, she sold a bunch of lies. The paperwork was garbage. And that was it. The other thing too, look, if you would lend somebody money or give somebody money, read the freaking paperwork they give you. I mean, come on, really? I mean, I know a guy who gave somebody a private placement memorandum, and it was about real estate. And inside the private placement memorandum, it actually said, and we'll be developing a new product in India. Now, it was hidden somewhere in the PPM, and I got to tell you, I know basically where it came from. They're not developing a product in India. They found some stupid PPM on Google, and they tried to rewrite it, and they missed a sentence. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're getting a PPM that was written by you, Fred, or by me, do not invest with you, Fred, or with me. You invest with a PPM written by an attorney, because that's going to protect you, and it's going to protect me, it's going to protect everyone. My last PPM for one of my funds was 98 pages. I even said to the attorney, I said, really? 98 pages? He goes, yeah, read it. Let me know what you think. I go, ain't you freaking mind? I said, tell me what I really need to know. And I went to certain pages. And the word for it was I actually ended up reading it because I wanted to make sure because it simply had a question. And sure enough, somebody had a question on the last BPM I created. And the question was a very valid question. And I was able to answer it. And they said they didn't like the paragraph. I said, that's fine. You're allowed to exclude this paragraph from investing. It wasn't a terrible paragraph.
Right.
But it was something that they were afraid of. I'm like, oh, no problem. But yeah, you need to have a PPM or you need to have a paperwork that says it's real. I mean, I've had people lend me money on deals. I do it all the time. I borrow private lenders all the time.
Sure.
And I had one private lender. It was happened to be my brother, right? I borrowed money from him before, gave it back. He came into my house one day. I told him about a deal I was doing. I needed some money. He threw a check for $75,000 on my table. I said, whoa. This is not how it works. Take this check back. I said, that check, you either write it to the title company or you wire it to the title company, and they're going to give you a lien against the property that I'm buying. If not, you are not lending me money. And he didn't understand that if he would have handed that check to somebody else, or to somebody dishonest, even if it was his brother, doesn't matter. They could have taken that check, deposited in their account, do whatever they want with it. There's no paperwork, there's no lien, and there's nothing that says that I have to pay it back. So that's horrible. Don't do that. And I've seen that over and over again. I know you were involved in some other group a while back. I've seen people in that group lend people in that group money, and all of them are crying because no one's getting their money back, and no one has any recourse to get their money back.
Yeah.
And it's horrible what they do. In fact, I can't, but I try to monitor what goes on in our school. And when somebody says, hey, they're lending so-and-so money, I'm like, okay, make sure you have this paperwork, make sure you have this paperwork, make sure you have this paperwork, make sure the deal's good. And I have them, if they want to, make a coaching appointment, I'll go over the whole deal with them, make sure that it's still a good deal. Because you have to understand that if the deal's no good, don't lend money. That's number one. Also, when I borrow money from somebody, it's my thought that the absolute best thing that can happen to that person is I don't pay it back. Think about that. The best thing that can happen to the person I borrowed money from is I don't pay it back. That means that the property is worth a lot more than they're borrowing from me. And they have, in my paperwork, it actually says what's called a confession of judgment. It says they get the property automatically. They don't have to go through foreclosure. They get the property automatically if I don't pay them back. So if I miss 3 payments, they get the property back automatically. And that's it. I can't fight it. In fact, my paperwork even says if I try to fight it, I have to pay their attorney fees for me to fight it. That's how sure I am that I'm going to be paying them back. And on top of it, if I don't, they're so sure that if I don't pay it back, they're going to make all their money back plus money. So again, I've got all the people that I borrow money from, they wish I wasn't paying them. I always make it funny. I always make a joke and say they all wish I was dead because if I was dead, I wouldn't be paying them.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the paperwork is so important and getting the terms right with everything. It's amazing. I love it when, and I'm sure you love this too, when people come to me or come to whoever and they say, hey, I'm thinking about firing my accountant and doing my own taxes this year, or I'm thinking about not using a lawyer and just making an LLC online. And I always go back to them with changing it from financial health to your actual health. And I go, well, I just fired my surgeon, so the next time I break my leg, I'm just going to do the surgery myself. And that puts it in perspective for them.
You might be able to do that. So I've learned a lot from attorneys, and the biggest thing I learned from attorneys is their tools. I don't mean tools like the insult. I mean their tools. You tell an attorney what to do. Don't have an attorney tell you what you should do. That's a big mistake that people make. Same thing. It's sort of same thing with an accountant, where you have to say, this is what I want to do. I want to move. Because accountants, like in my book, Money Hacks, I talk about how to put money away, how to save money, how to not pay taxes. And when I say not pay taxes, yes, you're going to pay taxes. It's going to be a lot less taxes. And my accountant never told me these tricks. He goes, oh, yeah, that works. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that works? Why did I have to bring it to you and have you verify that something I want to do? Why didn't you tell me to do this? Well, I don't know. That's not my job. My job is to prepare your tax return. Same thing with attorney, right? Your attorney doesn't know what you want. When you get sued or someone sues you or you sue someone else, don't lie down because the attorney's lazy. I tell you, I had a case once where the attorney lied down. Oh, listen, you're going to get a $50,000 check from the defendant. What do you care? I go, because this defendant screwed up my life, and I want more than that. He goes, oh yeah, but I don't know if I really want to work on this case anymore. In fact, I'll only charge you $2,000. Like, so I'm thinking, okay, now that my attorney doesn't even want to work on the case to the point where he wants to charge me $2,000, I better take the 50,000. Here's the mistake I made. I had the wrong attorney, and I didn't tell him what to do. Now this was many, many years ago,
Right.
so it's not really. I mean, it literally didn't bother me at the time, but the reality is, because I didn't know how to handle attorneys, I probably gave up $250,000, $300,000 that should have been mine. All right, because that's the kind of case it was. I don't want to get into what the case was, but it's the same thing now. When I have attorneys, I hire attorneys. Say, this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I need you to write the legalese on how to do it. That's all I need you for.
Yeah. It's like an employee. It's like having a team, for running your business. It's the same kind of idea.
Yeah, and you can form your own LLC online. It's not that difficult. The funniest thing, it's really funny because I formed so many of them online. I've done it myself. And the biggest company I have right now, Investor Schooling, was the only one I did wrong.
When that happens.
We've been trying to get the IRS to fix the paperwork forever.
Yeah.
They just have to download the wrong form. It was the first time I ever did it. I downloaded the wrong form. But it's a funny story that again, if I would have had an attorney do it, it probably wouldn't be a hassle. Now it's not like it's a major problem. It just It happens to be the wrong form. It's no big deal. But it's just funny that I happened to do it then. I happened to make that mistake then. So yeah, so maybe for $500, $1,000, you have an attorney do it. But you need to have an attorney that you trust. Don't just grab some attorney and I always wanted to work on an LLC paperwork before attorney.
Exactly.
There's a lot of those out there too.
Just like hiring the right employees, the right staff, the right team, anywhere in your life, the right doctors even.
Yes, absolutely.
So it all works. So Larry, we're coming up on an hour here. How can people get in contact with you? How can they reach you? How can they learn more about these money hacks and all the cool stuff you got going on?
So, of course, you can go to Facebook. Just look up Larry Steinhouse. I probably have too many friend requests, but you can follow me. But there's also Larry Steinhouse author. There's also Larry Steinhouse presents. There's Crazy Options Trader, Crazy Real Estate Investor, and Stock Option Consultant. You could become a member of any one of those on Facebook. That's fine. You can also feel free. Actually, here's also something that's easy for you too. ContactLarry.com. So if you want to put that up, ContactLarry.com, and then you'll be able to send me a text message. You'll be able to roll it if you want to
schedule a call, right?
Schedule a call with me. You could, so all that's up there. ContactLarry.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me, and you'll have everything and anything you need to get a hold of me right there.
Nice. I love it. So Larry, let's get some parting wisdom from you. What would your final words of wisdom be to someone checking in today? What would you want them to hear before we say goodbye? You can do it. It's simple. You can do it. You want to do something? Do it. Don't say I kind of thought I want to do it. Do it. I like Gordon. Gordon has something. He says there is no try. There is do or do not. That's actually Yoda, but the way Gordon explains it is great. Do not try to do something. Just do it. You're going to do it. And if you want to do it, you're going to do it. Be, like I said before, be a heroin addict about it, and you're going to get whatever it is you want. You want more money, you're going to get it. You want a boat, you're going to get it. You want an apartment complex, you're going to get it. You want a mobile home park, you're going to get it. You want to come to investor schooling, all you have to do is go to investorschooling.com. It's really simple. Wait for it. There it is. I have like 37 tabs for you. I had to find the right one. I love it. Today, don't forget to watch Money Chat Now at 4:03 on Facebook. On Facebook. And then you got all kinds of stuff going on. And then Chambers tonight and then class tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Chambers will be fun tonight. I can't believe you can't make it. I'm so upset. Yeah, next week I'll be there, most likely. Well, I'm not going to be there. Whatever. You do it once a month. By the way, this is the last Wednesday of every month. We go to Chambers 19 in Doylestown and we just hang out. We have fun. We even buy appetizers for actually Chambers buys the appetizers. They actually give us free appetizers. Yeah, they're cool events. I like going to those. It's real chill, chill vibe, nice and easy. Larry gets drunk, so that's always fun. Yeah, that's actually a lot of fun. Because you think I'm mean now. He just gets mean to everybody. You come in and say hi, and he starts yelling at you. No, that's just you. Because you came late. Again. Good Phil. Okay. Well, I feel special now, so I'm okay with that. All right. Anyway, you guys know the drill. If you want to contact Larry, go to contactlarry.com, head over to Investor Schooling, or wait for his book to come out so you can learn all the money hacks that are out there. Thank you so much for tuning in, Larry. This has been awesome, man.
Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it.
You got it. Have a good one, everybody.